society is how it treats its women and girls. It's women and girls. We create the smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women. We can fight. I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me. Many of these girls have faced unthinkable obstacles just to attend school. Of any society is how it treats its women and girls. Won't stand still. Your story is my story. Your story is my story.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Liz. I've got one of my co-hosts, Maria, joining by Zoom. How are you, Maria? And before we get... go ahead.
No, I'm okay. I'm here.
Awesome. So I want to thank our listeners for supporting our show during the fund drive last week. We actually made our goal this time, which is quite an anomaly. But we thank you for your support. And it's still not too late to donate if you want to jump on the WMNF website and put a donation and mark it for Surly Voices. My second co-host, Donna, is joining in by Zoom. How are you, Donna?
I am coming into the studio, and I'll be in there in just a second because I'm excited about all of the news there is today.
Oh, my gosh. Kick us off on your most exciting piece because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, I think that USAID is Judge Roberts, dissenting at the last minute on the decision to block the billions of dollars still owed. I think that the Trump AI video that CNN, surprisingly, gave a breakdown to, you couldn't not cover it because the president himself shared it. And if you haven't seen that, Liz will tell you don't bother, but I think it's a must see. It harkens back to the Team America days. It's unbelievable stuff.
I thought that it was like a spoof video that somebody made because that's what it looks like.
Definitely comes off like that. And then the last thing that I have on my mind is if this was stated this morning by one of my Facebook friends and someone that I worked with briefly in the Warnock runoffs, said that, what would it look like, was asking the question, what would it look like if progressives curbed their anti-liberal leanings and decided to create an all front against this encroaching fascism? How much are we willing to avert this crisis? What is our level of willingness to engage with liberals? And they're often insufferable. I'll let you finish that one. I'll come in the studio.
Number one, the vote shaming that goes on is like, oh, how y'all like not voting for Kamala now? That's, and it's like, go away. Anyway, if you want to join the conversation, please give us a call, 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. And there's a growing cadre of Democrats saying, oh, we need to, play more to the center. No, the center is so far right now. Democrats are not even Reagan Republicans anymore. They're who's the most conservative president you could possibly think. We're in Bush territory now. So it's like, what are you guys doing? Instead of putting your heads together and coming up with something constructive, you sit there and you vote for things that you know aren't going to pass. And it's, I'm really frustrated. It's like, where is the out of the box thinking? It's like, oh, Elon's got all these little tech bros, hackers working for him. Well, I'm sure the Democrats could scrape up some hackers. Hackers are pretty mercenary as a group, as a whole. Why don't the Democrats hire a bunch of hackers? It's like, come on, fight fire with fire. This is the problem. Democrats want to play nice, and they are alone in that endeavor.
I disagree. I don't know that Democrats want to play nice.
But
I think the old people that control the Democratic Party want to play nice and want to pretend that this is the good old days for them, right? And I don't see young people sitting still for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that there is, for as much as we talk about the tension on, whatever, because we'll talk about the hot race for governor of Florida soon, I'm sure, I hope. But I don't think it's that that Democrats want to play nice. I think that there is a group of people who control things, who are completely void of ideas.
Yes.
And they're too old to use the brain power to recognize that these are people that can't even figure out Zoom, okay? After 5 years of COVID. So, I mean, I don't expect much from them, but I would love for them to get out of the way.
That ain't going to happen because...
my problem is we're looking at... I know we all want to have faith in the youth. And there are so many youth that are just fire. But I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but they're going to the right too. Instead of getting like hoodied young people with wild hair, I know I'm stereotyping them, but kids reflect they express themselves more readily,
right,
in their appearance. We're getting suited up. Ties buttoned to the top, not the Obama era sleeves rolled up, no tie era. But these kids have gone back to the banker suit era, and they are in the middle. They are not progressive leaning at all.
It is greed is good all over again.
Yes,
on steroids.
Say it again.
Okay, it's the 80s all over again on steroids. But the thing about it is that they're going where they are received. They're welcome there.
Exactly.
They are encouraged to go completely off the rails to the right.
Right. So, and that's another failing of the liberals is
exactly.
that
you cannot. There's no bottom low enough.
Right.
And they will encourage it. They will foment it.
So now there's this thing. Okay, so we can say that they're welcome there, but there is a robust movement. PSL, the communists, DSA, the Democratic Socialists, that those kids could align themselves with. They're much more visible and vocal and active and age appropriate for where that part of the movement is originating. There's just no excuse for these kids to be in suits and hanging out with the likes of Stephen Shale. It's not necessary. It doesn't have to happen, and I'm going to dissent there. I believe that they see an opening, they see a vacuum, they hear people calling for the youth, and they're like, I'm here, I'd like to become a rich consultant, or the vice chair of the DNC, albeit
Exhibit A.
Hey,
David Hogg.
I was trying not to say his name.
All right. Let's talk to Carl in Dunedin. Hi, Carl.
Good morning. Enjoying the show.
Thank you.
We are now run by an idiocracy.
Yes.
To take a term from the movie. it's just a stone cold idiocracy run by idiots for an idiot. And the sad thing is it's going to end up having tragic consequences for just a lot of people.
Exactly.
So it's just, I've been predicting, I've been telling my wife and a few friends for about a year and a half now that we're going to have riots like we had in the late 60s. The only difference is everybody has guns now.
Right.
And I told her that it would probably start this summer. We're already seeing protests, but trust me, it's going to get horrendous, and that's my prediction. Anyway, I'm enjoying the show. Have a good day.
Thank you so much for calling, Carl.
So can we talk about measles?
Yes, I do want to talk about measles. In Texas, they're having like this huge measles outbreak, and kids are dying, just like we said was going to happen. And who's our health czar? It's RFK Jr.
So, and I don't want to go past what our caller, Carl from Dunedin, just said, that he's talking about civil unrest. I think that we're probably, and I think this has to be said, when you say that, we have to say this. We are probably in the worst position as a citizenry to engage in civil disobedience and protests than we've ever been in the history of this country. And when people were getting annoyed, and this is a problem that, you guys are listening, listen very carefully, because this is with love, with great love that I say this. One of the reasons that the liberals are not talking to the progressives is because when the progressives were saying these issues are important to us and they're affecting our daily lives, our reproductive rights, our anti-blackness that's endured for centuries in this country and still is lively, the homophobia that we've never confronted until the last 30 years.
Right.
Transphobia, which everyone seems to be struggling with outside of a very small community. And Democrats as well.
Yes.
Because I remember a local Democrat who used to be my representative getting on the bandwagon with the girls in sports before someone told her, hey, that's not a thing that we do on the side. If you believe it, it's kind of like abortion. You got to ride with it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so there's that happened. And there's Palestine, and the insanity around, the madness around that. We've got measles. We've got RFK as our health czar. Elon Musk and the people, if you saw pictures of the cabinet
Oh, my gosh.
meeting, if you saw the stills of that, people are not amused.
No.
Even the Republicans, the horrible Republicans in that cabinet, and these opinions do not reflect that of this radio station. Okay?
Right.
I want to be clear. It's early disclaimer time.
The opinions on Surly Voices are those of Surly Voices and not those of WMNF Tampa.
Thought it was a good time to say that because I think I've said we a couple of times, and that does not mean WMNF.
Right.
Okay? I want to be clear. So we Democrats, we progressives, we on the left, that's the we, okay, for everyone that's listening. Because this is a diverse, politically diverse cadre of people in and around this station. Just want to be clear. Now, the people in those stills were none too amused with Elon Musk holding forth.
Right.
Okay, he acted as if he was the king and it was his court.
Well, see, and that's the thing is everybody thinks.
I could not help but look at
Yes.
Marco Rubio's face.
Yeah, he was the one because he was sitting on he and Hesketh were flanking Trump.
Yes.
And he was in most of the pictures.
Yeah. So, but yeah, everybody's like, oh, Trump. Trump is not running the country.
He is absolutely not.
Elon is running the country. This dude, this trust fund baby from South Africa, apartheid South Africa, has bought our country and is now just doing what he wants to with it. So let's talk to Lenny in Gulfport. Hi, Lenny.
Hi. Thank you for letting me speak, and I'm listening to your show, and I'm enjoying it. I'd also like to say that I've been a Circle of Friends supporter for WMNF. So I really take strong when you're talking about the weakness of the.
You're breaking up a bit, Lenny.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I had this problem before. You can't hear me at all?
No, I can hear you,
keep
but
going now. We can hear you now.
Now you can hear me. Now.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm taking strong issue with you about the weakness of the Democrats. And, this last election, it was very clear the differences between Harris and Trump. And we knew exactly what Trump was going to give us. He made he was not hidden. His agenda was not hidden. It's very unfortunate you mentioned about the Indians. And, protesting against Biden and Harris only served Trump. And, we have to take a look at the election. You only have two choices. You only have Trump. You only had Harris. You could not choose a middle path. And you have to decide who's going to give you the better of what you want. And if anybody thought that Trump was going to help you in any way, they're sadly delusioned.
So who is this message for, Lenny? I want to be specific. Lenny, can you clarify something for me? Who is this messaging for? Are you talking to us? Because who did you vote for, Liz?
I voted for Kamala.
I did too. So who are you talking to?
Okay, I'm talking to you, basically.
Okay, because I voted for Kamala Harris, so I don't even know what you mean.
Yeah, we held our nose and voted, Lenny.
We knew, we understood the assignment.
But there was a lot of attack against,
There was an evaluation. And as a black woman, I take Umbrage was telling me that I attacked anyone. All right, that's a little loaded. Right, and we have met in person. So let's just, if you have a problem with us saying that, say you have a problem with us saying that. But don't say that we attack them. Our job is to keep an honest dialogue going about what we're facing. And I think we do a great job of that. And everyone isn't going to like it, but go on.
Okay. Well, the point is, you made, when you're talking about the Palestinian issue, you made a very valid point. But at some point, you have to realize, the people who were supporting, the Palestinians and feeling that Harris was not for them. And basically, by not supporting the Democrats, not supporting Harris, helping her win, they allowed Trump to win.
Okay, so we're going to let you go, Lenny. Thank you for calling and giving us your thoughts. And this is kind of like what I was talking about earlier. I mean, 100% of the people in the room right here voted for Harris. Mm-hmm. So it's not that people didn't vote for Harris. It's that Harris pandered hard to the Republicans. She chose Liz Cheney over the tons of people up in Michigan who she ridiculed basically in a speech
and stonewalled.
And stonewalled, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why are you going to get Liz Cheney and God forbid Dick Cheney to vote for you when you've got this huge mass of people who are telling you, look, this is wrong. We need to stop it.
I have a question for Maria because someone told me this the other day, and I don't do a lot of party politics, and I don't do any politics in Florida, that a few years back, the Democratic Party of Florida paid someone to do a study, a little research around what it was that Florida Democrats wanted. And basically, it turned out to be the progressive platform. And they kind of put it under the rug.
Right.
And moved on with the moderate neoliberal platform. Is that true, Maria?
if it is true, they did a really good job of sweeping it under the rug because I never heard about it.
Yeah, they said that's what they said. They said they just kind of squashed it. It was, I think, Josh Holton that told me that. So if Josh, if you're listening, call in and give us the 411 on that. And I will dig into that deeper so that I can bring you guys some hot tea next
I
time.
have seen reports of studies to that effect that, the Democrats missed the boat big time when they chose the Cheneys over the progressive branch.
Well, I think the thing that there's the recent breakdown survey of this last election that 29% of the people who voted for Biden in 2020 who did not vote for Kamala Harris in this last election, 29% of them did not vote for her simply because of the position the administration took on Gaza.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which superseded the economy, by the way. The economy was 24% and Gaza was 29%. And one of the interesting things, because we keep, the Democratic Party has a lot, and we could spend an entire month talking about where they went wrong. But we keep talking about, we do identity politics and we're not good at it, right? But the reality of it is that they are not heeding the advice of what their information is even giving them.
Exactly. Let me catch up on some of these emails real quick because they're coming in fast and furious. Karen in Dunedin says that video was distressing on so many levels because it came from our American president. The funny thing is you would think AI would have made him look buff at the end, but it made him look like his real body.
That was wild. I saw that.
Yeah. And then let's see. So what's your thought of him wanting to sell citizenship, Wendy? Well, you can imagine what my thoughts are on that. Oh, the gold card, right? It's like you give us gazillions of dollars and you'll get the gold card and be a citizen. Yeah, it's like everybody should have to go through the same process.
But I kind of think that, first of all, let's not pretend that our system was without that to begin with.
Yes.
He's up the ante to $5 million. However, you could get a visa if you had $500,000 to invest in a business in the United States of America. You could get a green card. So for him to have a gold card, right, for $5 million should not come as a shock to anybody. And you know what? Quite frankly, a lot of these things we have to press pause and look at these things for what they are and what is the greater grift that the shell game is about. Because every time we see these things and every time we have outrage about these things, there is a huge heist on the other end that we're no longer looking at. Like, I remember in his first administration, we were looking at the conflicts of interest. And then we looked at I'm going to hand over all of my business interests to my sons. And there was blank reams of paper on a table that here's all my business interests and I'm going to give them to my sons to look after. And we all knew that it was a bluff, right? Mm-hmm. And they're not even pretending anymore. Like I remember when Karine Jean-Pierre said something at the podium during a press conference, and everybody was like, oh, Hatch Act, Hatch Act, Hatch Act. Here is the President Musk sitting in a cabinet meeting, sitting in the Oval Office with a MAGA hat on, violation of the Hatch Act. Mm-hmm. And nobody says anything anymore because why? What's the point? We are just going to run roughshod over what is, and this is the thing, getting back to what you said in the very beginning. Like we are no longer playing by the rules of the road, right? Like it's like the Marquess of Queensberry rules when you're literally in a knife fight in the street.
Yes.
Like you cannot be doing this stuff and
Right.
thinking
I know
that
our
you are
listeners
going to come out
eating this up.
alive.
Our listeners are eating this up.
Well, I've said this before, and I will say it again. I liken this situation to the movie Die Hard 3. That's the one with Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis.
So I think we need to do a nonstop through these, when you get done, through these emails, and then get these callers.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, the callers have been on a little while now, so let's get rid of these 3 callers, and then we'll do the... No? Okay.
The emails have been since the beginning of the show.
You're right. Okay. All right. So David says, "Hi, ladies. It was great to meet Donna last week at WMNF conference room. She is awesome. I think so, too. I think it makes sense that the White House is so musky right now."
It's all the same.
Elon is similar to Trump. He only seeks to divide us. And what makes sense from an apartheid-era South African like Musk? Deep thoughts. All right. Thank you so much, David. I'm sorry I didn't get to meet you, too, but I had a work thing that I had to run directly out. Oh, I was catching a plane last week. That's right. Yeah. Okay, this is from Thomas. I'm 70 and still fighting the oligarchy and just stopped listening to your show. I'm not sure if I will continue. Well, I'd like to know more about that, Thomas. Give us a call. Let's see. Did you know that Meatball Ron is doing a presser right now in Stark? I wonder if he got a speeding ticket going through. I suspect it's about Florida State Guard being used to round up undocumented immigrants because Meatball is a Trump wannabe and he's a vindictive little jerk. That's from Bubba. And I got a thing about... I don't know what this is, but...
I got shout out to Robert Frost, though. He and Jasmine Crockett seem to be the only reps with spines. To your point,
You mean Maxwell Frost? Robert Frost is a dead poet.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I got that. And
Dead Poet Society.
I kept looking at it. I kept looking at Robert Frost, and I was like, what does Robert Frost have to do with any of this? Okay.
I took the road less traveled by.
It's crazy. So he and Jasmine Crockett seem to be the only reps with spines. To your point, they are 2 of the youngest. Have y'all seen the post online about Trump being a Russian agent? Also, have you seen the updates on the Mangione trial? Thank you for your surly voices, as always, Jiminy.
Yeah, I've seen poor little Luigi getting thrown under the bus. Hopefully, he has good legal counsel. Let's talk to Fran in Largo. Hi, Fran.
Oh, hi there. Yes, Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I think of those 2 as just pure greed. Pure greed. They, I don't think they have much humanity left in them. And I think, if that sounds like they're being demonized, like I'm demonizing them, they're demonizing the rest of us. So these are an enemy, really, to this country. I'm not worried about immigrants or any other countries invading us or anything. I'm worried about them. They are the enemy, and we have to deal with them like that. Get tough with them before it gets. And start now. If there's going to be riots or anything, go ahead with the riots. We need things like that to happen.
Get it started.
Do we want this to get as far as World War II did to get rid of Hitler and the Nazis and really destroy our country? And like I saw that video on Jimmy Kimmel. I thought it was just a Jimmy Kimmel kind of a thing that he does, but I heard on Amy Goodman it wasn't.
Yeah.
That is just... It's sickening, that big statue of him, like that one of Saddam Hussein or whatever. It's just waiting. He's waiting to get knocked down.
Right.
That's what I thought.
All right.
He's waiting to get knocked down. He's waiting to become like, what was it, Mussolini. I'm getting nasty, so I'm glad you did this disclaimer. I'm waiting for him to end up like Mussolini, and maybe with Melania too, and Elon Musk, of course, as piñatas spinning around, and you know what happened to them. So,
Whoa, Fran is on fire today. You're not usually this fired up.
I'm 74 years old. I'm worried about my Social Security because that's my only income. But I'm a little scared, but I'm more angry. I am more angry, and I'm holding on to my anger at these people.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Fran. Bye-bye. Again, the Surly disclaimer. The views on Surly Voices are those of Surly Voices, including our Surly callers, and not those of WMNF. Let's talk to Dave in Tampa. Hi, Dave.
Hey, good morning.
What's up?
I've been listening to you. I agree with you. I think this last election proved that corporate Democrats are uninspiring to voters.
Yeah.
Right. I think the Democratic Party really needs to become a little more radical. I mean, I don't think riots are going to help, but I do think a more radical economic approach to this would be more inspiring. You know, like Elon Musk, for example, has a real interesting book out about his wealth, and he's not really as wealthy as he seems. You know,
No.
They never are. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, if you can drive down the share price of Tesla, you're going to really blow him out of the water eventually because he's very heavily leveraged. And a lot of these guys are. I mean, I think it needs to be, the Democratic Party really ought to be coordinating boycotts and doing that kind of thing, economic warfare, not in the streets. But you want to take these people down and really hurt them. These are capitalists, and the place to hurt them is with
money.
Capital, you know.
Exactly.
Go get them with money, yeah. And they're, like, for example, tomorrow there's a thing called the People's Union USA, and they've got a boycott organized for tomorrow. You just don't buy anything.
Right.
Just don't buy anything unless it's a local store. That's easy to do, but it'll also have an effect on share price. If you can prove that you can do this to large companies like Amazon and Tesla and so forth, begin to affect their share price, that's going to shake up the boardroom, shakes up the board of directors. Ultimately, you get at these people where it really hurts them, and that's in the wallet.
Right.
And that's where the Democratic Party got to go. I mean, Bernie Sanders is going that way, but I haven't heard him talking about boycotts as much. And that's where these kids that are in the Democratic Party, I don't care if you wear a tie. If you understand money, you can conduct guerrilla warfare.
They don't actually understand politics. That's the problem. The problem is they're suited up like they're specialists and highly knowledgeable. But then when you ask them questions, they say, "I'm just a kid."
Yeah.
So we don't need that.
Thanks so much, Dave. And thanks, Dave, for putting the shout out about the economic blackout tomorrow. People are supposed to do nothing with the major retailers like Amazon, Walmart, stuff like that.
But we need to sustain a boycott. One day, not shopping today so that you can shop on Saturday.
Yes.
Doesn't do anything. And it takes a long time to see we wouldn't see the impact on a one-day boycott or even a 1-month boycott. It wouldn't be immediate.
It'll put a blip on the screen anyway.
It doesn't do anything. Let me iron this out for you guys, okay? And then we'll go over to Maria. A one-day boycott. Remember, the Montgomery boycotts took longer than a year.
Yes.
A year. And so we're talking about a day in an economy where people spend for fun. People consume for fun. And so it's an entertainment in a wealthy society. Although a lot of you are like, I'm not wealthy. Oh, neither am I. But in a society like this one that we're in, it's people consume for a point of pleasure. And delaying those orders for one day doesn't actually do anything. What we need to do, and I've been saying this for 5 years, we pick an organization like we did during
GameStop.
Right, just like we did during the rise of the retail investor during COVID, and just like we did last year, where Starbucks came back and started begging people essentially to come back to its spaces, and then they fired the CEO because it happened on his watch. That's impact, but it took us months. We boycotted Starbucks for the better part of a year, and that's how the changes happened. Right? So we're not, this is what the one day will do. I don't want to be entirely negative, but I'm looking at the time. What we do is we allow this to point us to sustained effort using specific organizations, because Americans have short attention spans, and they're not going to boycott 9 organizations. We saw that with they added Lay's and they added McDonald's and then they added Tide, and people were like,
one at a time. Pick them off one at a time.
Pick them off one at a time and make them afraid.
Right. Okay. Jack in Dover. Hi, Jack.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, ma'am. I think that a lot of what we're doing right now is reactive instead of proactive. I like the fact that you all said that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz were probably the best pick. Yeah. And I agree that they were. I think that once people, relax and settle into them being, the next running mates, they'll make the right decision next time. And I just wish that that the things in Gaza weren't going on right now, and where that was the primary issue for them, losing the election, like you said. Had nothing to do with either one of them, and it had nothing to do with Joe Biden being as old as he was. What I'd like to see happen is the Democratic Party still rally around Joe Biden a little bit. Maybe this is a way to have just listen.
You lost me.
Just to have a program like The View, do a show that was, The View from the front porch of the White House, where he's sitting in a rocking chair, because people like to listen to their grandparents. They like to hear somebody's opinion that's older. And just let him talk a little bit about the life that he lived. He was remarkable as the person that he was.
No, Jack, no. You are talking to a diehard Biden hater, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not a diehard Biden hater. I would just say that sounds really well-intended, but equally out of touch.
Well, I'm just saying that if you had other people on the show that people could rally around, even people from the other side, if you had Sarah Palin, for instance, or if you had, Whoopi Goldberg.
Do you remember what happened when Joe Biden went on television and let everybody see what his mental state was? It almost threw this, it was turmoil. It was.
Yeah, because, he was being beat up by somebody who...
All right, I think
younger than him.
Yeah, I get you. But we're gonna move on, because that's behind us, and we got to go forward. But I do want to say this about the whole reactionary thing. We've been doing this work since before it was cool. And so I take a little bit. I mean, it's hard to be easily offended in this environment. Because there's so many terrible things happening at once. It would consume us. But I'm a little bit offended by that, because before we were looking at cuts to Medicaid, we were being arrested in the rotunda. It was a year ago when no one was thinking about it, when it seemed safe, when reproductive rights seemed safe. We were in a blizzard on the this was 15 years ago.
Complacent.
On the steps of the Colorado State Capitol singing "Row, Row, Row Your Boat." It was about Roe versus Wade.
Right.
So this is not, we got ahead of this stuff. People were telling us when we were doing it, it's not a big thing. When we were working on Black history, reproductive rights, Medicare for all, it was in the 2005. I was on the cover of the Rocky Mountain News arguing with some guy from Golden about cuts to Medicare, food stamps, and Medicaid. Oh, and Pell Grants. So, yeah, I mean, I would say that was way ahead of the curve. Right. So please with that.
Yeah. Let me clarify something that Donna said earlier, is like what we need to do. We get kind of loose with our language sometime. We're not encouraging people to do anything, just like I'm sure Fran wasn't encouraging people to go out and riot. Or maybe she was. But anyway.
Well, riots aren't explicitly illegal, and they're not necessarily involve crime. A riot can just be a lot of people screaming.
Right. Okay, let's...
You see what I did there? You're the lawyer. It don't necessarily entail violence.
Let's talk to Lenora in Tampa. Hi, Lenora.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I just want to comment on your topic this morning. I'm an immigrant. I've been in the U.S. for 40 years, and I'm a citizen. And I'm so outraged to see every day and hear what is going on.
Yeah.
I'm outraged to see how these puppets are around this Nazi guy now coming into the presidency.
Right.
I
Exactly.
don't know how things are happening and how they're letting it happen. I don't understand. I'm so outraged to see. And I cannot wait. I hope it doesn't become bloody, but something is going to happen soon because this cannot be sustained and it cannot be, the economy is not going to be a very good economy.
Right.
I don't know how they cannot see what's happening, or I don't know how they're blindfolded. I'm not a good politician. I just listen to the news, but I don't know how they're all blindfolded.
Well, and that's just it, Lenora, is, okay, you got career politicians like Marco Rubio sitting up there cutting eyes, but what's he doing about it? Nothing.
Oh,
They're all afraid.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to say something. I don't know who's getting, I don't know why they're shut down.
Yeah.
Everyone is just shut down.
Right, exactly.
I don't know what's going on. I think he has something to do with Putin, and I think that Putin has something with him that is like back in the, back in the ways there. I don't know.
Right.
But something is going on, and it's not good.
All right. Thank you so much for calling.
It's going to fall deeply, and everyone is going to get hurt.
Everybody's going to get hurt except the billionaires. Yes.
The millionaires.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
The billionaires
Lenore.
will get hurt too. They'll get hurt because it'll be like the French Revolution all over again.
Yeah, except without the bunkers.
Yeah.
They can't just go into their house and drag them out.
Right. Christina in St. Petersburg.
And these will be our last 3 calls.
Hey, Christina.
Hey, good morning, ladies. I just want to say right off the bat, thank you again, and as always, for your courage and your irreverence. I've been so enjoying the conversation today, as I always do, and I only caught part of it. So hopefully my comments will be right on the money with what we're talking about.
Well, first, let me thank you so much for listening. So go ahead.
Absolutely. I love I'm definitely a Surly Voices groupie. So 2 things. I want to make a comment on two different callers you had this show. First was Lenny. I thought it was interesting what he said, and I really enjoyed the conversation between you and Lenny. I feel a little bit like he does in the sense that I feel like, possibly some of the listeners out there, and definitely people in our society that maybe aren't as politically oriented, they aren't as politically studied or savvy. Sometimes when maybe they hear us Democrats, doing any Biden bashing or even calling Kamala on some mistakes she made in her run for presidency, maybe sometimes they interpret that as, oh my gosh, did this person vote for Trump, right? I've had to...
Impossible, because every time we do that, we say, we understand the assignment, guys.
Yes.
Like, we're not going to drive this thing over the cliff. We are very clear, and we always offer that. If you vote for Trump, this is what you're going to get, what we're getting now. We were always clear about that.
May I?
No murkiness.
May I also add that we have a responsibility beyond casting a vote to hold people accountable.
Yes, exactly.
And I feel like we fail when we don't. And it's not that we don't, we cannot afford deifying our elected officials.
Right.
They work for us.
Exactly.
They work for us. And every day that we get to entertain a performance review on everything that they do. It is us. We have to be accountable. Nobody is coming to save us. Right. We have to do this work too.
Right.
In a monarchy, you glaze and gloss.
Right.
In a government, you dissent when necessary. And our founding charters say that it is our duty to do so because that's what keeps a democracy working. And to Fran's point earlier, when the sycophants sit around the king, right, and say he's wearing beautiful clothes, that's how we get here. And so if we don't want a Democrat president to become the same way, we must make sure there's a landing place for integrity, honesty, and a functioning government. And if we do not keep the Democrats honest, and like I said, we always said I was supposed to go to a concert the next day, but I flew out the day before to make sure I could vote.
Right.
Because even in a red state where my vote literally would not have counted, I wanted to vote in my local races, and I wanted to be able to say, I cast my vote the right way, because I knew you guys were going to do this when Trump won, which we also said was going to happen.
We said that from the day one, so it's like the Democrats just sat around and let him incite an insurrection and did nothing to him.
Right. We got about 50 emails in here still.
Right.
And we got to go on to the next caller, though.
Oh, thank you so much, ladies, for that perspective and inspiring me to look at it in that way. I appreciate
thank you for calling.
Thank you
for
so
listening.
much, Christina. Bye-bye. All right, Scott is on the phone, and he is driving. I hope you got a hands-free device,
1
Scott.
minute, Scott. We're winding it down.
Actually, I'm sitting here waiting to gas up now.
Okay, well, run us down. Run us down.
I missed half your show. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Talking about immigration, evidently. Is that right?
Well, we
talked about a lot of things.
We've talked about a lot of things.
Let's get right to it. We got about 8 minutes left.
All right. First, on immigration, like Florida just passed some kind of regulations, but they didn't push the E-Verify, which would handle a lot of this problem.
Yeah.
I mean, if we would penalize the companies for hiring illegals, everyone that they would arrest, the owner should be fined like $10,000. That would help pay for their cost to ship them back if we have to. But then again, they'd quit hiring them, and that's why people are coming here, because they want a job. So tied in with that is we need to have a legal avenue for them to come and apply for a job. And ideally, at the border, they'd sign up, prove that they have somebody here they can live with, and they have a job. They come here and work and on probation, and after 6 months, you check probation. If they've been good, haven't been arrested, then that's the next step to getting citizenship.
All right.
But
Thanks.
Something like that ever happened.
All right. Thanks so much for calling, Scott.
We're going to go back into these emails and try to get through them. Jackie, did we read Jackie?
No, I don't think
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jackie. This is a huge compliment. Let's see here. That's not ours, I don't think. Somehow we got these.
Yeah, they mix up in.
Yeah. So we did selling citizenship. We did Meatball Ron having a press conference. He just looks so ridiculous to me. Robert Frost is not a real thing. I forgot to add that 95% of the churches that I passed by in the last 5 to 6 years have also planted these flags.
Yes. Why are we not taxing churches, especially if they have any kind of political signage in their yards?
Mussolini, Hitler, Saddam all died like the mad dogs that they were, but not before their countries were in ruin. That's what I fear is in store for us. The worst people in America revel in their cruelty and don't even notice that their own lives are getting worse. Until they wake up, we are all at the mercy of the stupid. And isn't that one of the reasons why we have to constantly remind people that, we're in a representative democracy and not in something where we want to spackle over the spots.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go back over to Maria. I'd like to ask that you explain to our listeners, with all of the clarity of a party insider, why they should do the work of holding their elected officials and their county DECs accountable for how the party is being run. Because I can see that people continue to want to place the blame on the folks who withheld their vote or who didn't, who cast a vote for Donald Trump. But I think that if you have good candidates, if you have good candidates, this won't happen, right?
Here's the thing. I want to say a couple of things.
Okay.
Number one, I am, and you know this about me, Donna, I am fundamentally an organizer.
Right.
And so when I want to go back to just for a second, go back to the boycott, the idea of the boycott.
Yes.
Tomorrow starts the fire.
Thank you.
That's all it is. If everybody does that, and including what I plan on doing, is not being on any of Meta apps or whatever as well, it starts the fire. Once people realize that they're capable of sacrificing and doing without, and that they don't need, the progressive boycott, where we get to like the Montgomery boycott, happens. So it's not an either or for me. It's all of the above. Like, we have to start being more conscious about everything. Now, taking that consciousness into the Democratic Party. I'm going to talk about Palm Beach County, where there are almost 500,000 registered Democrats. Most of those Democrats look like us, okay? That is not what the inside of the party looks like. The inside of the party is older. They are over 70 years of age. They are white. And they predominantly live in the south end of the county. And they do not reflect the majority of Democrats. And I'm just speaking about this county, but it goes for every single county in this state. What we have got to do, if we want them to hold them accountable, is force the issue, right? They want us, when they want our vote, they will come into our community. But they don't reflect our values. They don't reflect our ideas. They don't reflect what we see and what we want. We cannot depend on the Democratic Party to do any of that stuff, right? And I believe, I may not be what you're expecting, but what I believe is that we have to organize ourselves. We have to organize outside of the party, and we have got to organize our own messaging, and we have to organize our own voices. Imagine if you had the people that you organized, Donna, carrying that message, right? And forcing the Democratic Party to say, well, that's our coalition over there. We better listen to them. Otherwise, we're not getting their vote. Do you realize in this last presidential election, 75% of the Muslim Americans who voted for Biden in 2020 did not vote for Kamala Harris?
Yes,
and it's your fault that you did not give them anything to embrace.
And that's
right?
what you do when you want to keep your
it is the responsibility. And I start reading all this stuff from progressives and from this group and that group and every other group. I start reading this stuff about why the Democratic Party. To hell with them. I really think that there needs to be a new model where we have to start being like the German government or the French government, where you have multiples of us, whether we are organized as Black people, whether we are organized as environmentalists, or this, that, or anything else and everything else. They have to figure out how they are going to build coalitions with us, because it's very, very clear to me that we cannot build a coalition with them.
The Democratic Party is just another, it's the same party. Republicans and Democrats today are the same party. It's just,
I won't go that far. I will not go that far.
Okay, that's on me. All right, here's an email from Jimmy, who said, I was wondering what this guy meant when he said he wasn't going to listen to us anymore. Jimmy says, I'm also 70 years old, and I think I understand why earlier listener doesn't approve of your show. I've been a liberal since I was a child, marching for civil rights with my mom in the 60s, and a WMNF listener since the summer of 79. Not a Dem anymore because of the recent actions of that party. I hear it on your show too. It's just too much fear, hate, and violence. And then finally, from Greg, he says, as a first-time listener, I am thoroughly impressed with the content and tone. Carry on. Thank you so much, Greg. And so now tell all your friends. Frank has given me the finger, which means it's time for us to go. Please join us next week on Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5.